Hi, my name is Amber Larusso. I'm going to share with you a yin yoga sequence that is perfect for springtime, as we'll be addressing postures that tap into the digestive and detoxification systems of the body. You'll want to have 2 blankets and 2 blocks for your practice. You might also find a bolster helpful. We're going to start in a comfortable seat. Feel free to sit cross-legged, or you could sit on your knees and close your eyes. Begin to tune into your body. Take a scan from the crown of your head down to your feet and notice different body parts and how they feel today. Next, bring your awareness to your thoughts, noticing the pace of your thoughts and the tone. Moving on, notice your heart space, taking in any emotions as they arise. And finally, notice your breath. Allow your breath to stay natural, having gentle awareness of your breath flowing in and flowing out. With your inhale, notice the places in your body that expand and fill. As you exhale, allow your body to soften and let go. And with your next inhale, invite warmth and nourishment into your body. Softly open your eyes, and we'll begin with a toe stretch. So I recommend placing a blanket on your mat. Come to your knees. You'll want to come to tabletop, so come to all fours. And then tuck your toes underneath you. Start to send your hips back. If you can, bring yourself up to a seat. Give your body a moment to settle here. And then we'll come into a neck stretch. So let your right arm come by your side. Left arm will come around the low back to grab hold of your elbow. And then let your left ear come toward your shoulder. Allow your breath to stay soft and natural. Bringing your head slowly back to center, release the hold of your arm and switch sides. Bring your right arm around your back to grab hold of your left elbow, and then let your right ear come to your right shoulder. Gently bring your head back to center, releasing your arms. Place your hands on the floor, come back to tabletop, and then untuck your toes and tap the tops of your feet on the floor, letting go of any tension in the top of your foot. And then bring your hips back toward your heels. Bring your hands behind you and let your upper body sit back. You want to feel a nice stretch here through the tops of your feet, through the ankles. It might extend up through your shins. If your neck feels okay, you can let your head drop back. Slowly bring your chin back toward your chest. Walk yourself upright. We're going to come into tadpole next. So you want to open up your blanket at least one time. Come back to tabletop. Take your knees a little bit wide and bring your toes to touch. And then send your hips back toward your heels. You can walk your hands forward. Depending on how you feel in your body today, you might rest your forehead on the floor. You also have blocks available. In the yin yoga practice, we have a lot of time in different poses. So that time can be used to just experience whatever sensations you're having. You can also work with that awareness practice, moving through the states of your being. You're also welcome just to enjoy the quiet. From tadpole, we'll move right on to frog. So placing your hands on the floor, bring your hips in line with your knees, and then bring your shins parallel to the edges of your mat. Depending on how your knees feel today, you might flex your feet, or you can keep your toes pointed back. And then you'll start to allow your knees to come out wide. You'll want to find that point where you just start to feel sensation, and then pause there. Here you might stay on your hands. You might come to forearms. You might rest your heart completely on the floor. You want to find a place where your neck feels comfortable. So oftentimes that will be looking down. This posture has a tendency to build heat and sensation fairly quickly. So we do want to note that in the yin yoga practice, we are looking for a level of sensation that is somewhere between a 2 and a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. You also want to be mindful that you're not feeling pain. We don't want to experience anything that is burning, stinging, numbing, throbbing. We want to have a dull, achy sensation. So if at some point your experience goes beyond that, you'll want to ease out a little bit. In this pose, that might mean pointing your toes back or maybe toward each other a little bit. Or it might mean coming completely out of the posture and going back to tadpole. So tune into your body and let your breath also be an indicator for you throughout this practice. To gently ease yourself out of this pose, plant your hands on the floor, point your toes toward the back, and start to bring your knees toward each other. And then bring your toes to touch and come back to tadpole for a few breaths. From here, moving through tabletop, come to sit on your heels. You can fold up your blanket, maybe folding it once or twice. I'm going to sit on the edge of the blanket as we come into square pose, getting the hips up a little higher than the knees. It can be helpful to bring some softness into the hip joints and create a little bit more space. I'm also going to have a block ready. Please bring your left shin parallel to the top of your mat. Your right shin is going to stack on top. Now for some of you, it might look more like this with your foot sickling. If that's the case for you, then please bring your block in front of your left knee and place your foot on that block. You might also find that the right hip doesn't want to soften so that the knee can move downward. In that case, you can place a block between your knee and your ankle. It's also possible to do either of these things with a rolled up blanket. So find what works best for your body, and then allow yourself to settle in. Notice any places in your body that might be gripping or holding on to tension. And then with an exhale, let that go. Now place your right hand on the floor and let your left arm reach up and overhead. Your neck can be nice and relaxed, looking wherever feels the most comfortable. This can be a nice time to notice the breath and think about really letting that breath fill and inflate the left side of your body, creating space and creating length. Slowly bring yourself back up to center. And we'll take a gentle twist. So take your right fingertips behind you. Your left hand will come to your right knee. If your neck feels okay, then look over your right shoulder. And then coming back to center and taking a gentle forward fold. Now, if you are feeling a lot of sensation just sitting upright, then you'll want to stay there. You'll also want to keep in mind that as we sit for time, the body adjusts and changes. So if you had a block underneath your knee, you could experiment with taking it off to the side or making another adjustment with your body that just allows your body to come into its fullest expression. And here again, you'll want to keep in mind that in the yin yoga practice, going deeper is really about holding postures for longer periods of time. So if something isn't feeling right to your body or causing pain, then do please adjust, either easing up on the posture or coming out of it altogether. And then walking your hands toward you to sit upright, you can unwind your legs, placing props off to the side. And then with your knees bent and feet flat, bring your hands behind you and take your knees from side to side. So we're giving the hips a little bit of a massage. And then sitting upright, we'll come into square pose on the other side. So this time bringing your right shin parallel to the top of your mat. Left shin will come on top. You might find that this side of your body feels a little bit different. So if a different variation of this posture works better for you, you're welcome to make that change on this side. So take a few moments to set yourself up, and then allow your hips to settle. And then placing your left hand on the floor, let your right arm reach up and over, finding a relaxed position for your neck. Slowly bring yourself upright, and we'll take our twist to the left. So left fingertips come behind, right hand to your left knee, maybe looking over your left shoulder. coming back to center, just the same as we did on the other side. You'll come into an easy forward fold. Again, being mindful that this side might feel a little bit different than the other one. So adjust accordingly. Pressing into your hands, bring your body upright. Unwinding your legs and placing blocks off to the side. Bring your feet flat on the floor with your knees bent and take your legs from side to side. And then coming to sit upright. You can remove the blankets off of your mat. You'll want to come to lie down on your back with one block handy. So once you come to lie down flat on your back, then hug your knees in toward you. Here you can rock from side to side or maybe circling your knees to massage your low back. And then planting your feet on the floor with your knees bent, we'll come into a restorative bridge. So press into your feet and lift your hips. Place a block underneath your sacrum, so that's your low back, hip area. And then letting your hips rest on the block at either a low or a medium height. Then bring your arms up overhead so that your palms are facing up, and let the back of your hands rest on the floor. Now this might feel just right where you are. If you'd like to experiment, you can stretch your legs long and find a deep opening through the front of your hips and a lengthening through your entire body. Please bring your arms back along your sides. If you straighten your legs, please bend your knees and place your feet flat on the floor. press into your feet and lift your hips. Move the block off to the side and let your hips come back down to the mat. Once again, bend your knees in toward you, rocking side to side, circling your knees, maybe coming to happy baby. That would feel good to your body. And again, placing your feet on the floor with your knees bent. Shift your hips over to the left and let your knees fall over to the right. Your arms will come open into a T shape, and you can look over toward your left hand. As you settle in here, think about allowing your breath, the exhale specifically, to soften your shoulders, your upper back, allowing it to relax into the floor. Again, take a moment to notice if there's any part of your body that is using extra effort to hold yourself here. And see if you can let any part of that go. Allow yourself to begin to rest and relax. Moving slowly, and bring yourself back to center. This time, shift your hips over to the right and let your knees fall over to the left. Again, with your arms extended to a T, this time taking your gaze over to your right hand. And just like we did on the other side, giving yourself a few breaths to settle in. Gently bring yourself back to center. And one last time, hug your knees in toward you, rocking side to side. And then letting your legs come long on the mat, setting up for Shavasana. So feel free to put on extra clothing, cover with a blanket, work with your props in a way that feels supported for the next few minutes of relaxation. And here, with your eyes closed, tune into your breath. Note the natural rise and fall of your belly as you inhale and exhale. Notice your back body and all the places in your back body that meet the mat, the props, the floor below you. With your next exhale, release the full weight of your body into that connection of your body to the floor. Letting go of any last bit of effort or need to do. Giving yourself permission to relax. Allow your breath to softly deepen. And drawing your knees in toward you, roll over to one side. And then slowly make your way to a comfortable seat with your eyes closed. And here, take a moment to check in with yourself. Notice once again how you are in your physical body, in your mind, in your emotions. Notice how it feels to breathe here at the end of your practice. Please bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. In gratitude for this practice and for this day, Namaste.